My husband, Alex, wants me to wear a tracker to keep tabs on me all the time and says he'll divorce me if I cheat. So while he's out of town, I'm secretly packing up, filing his own divorce papers and getting out of there before he comes back. I'm 29 and Alex is 30. We met back in college during our freshman year. At first, we were just friends, and we tied the knot 7 months ago. I get along okay with his family, but we're not super close, just friendly enough. The issue is, Alex has started making me feel super uncomfortable. He's always asking me who I'm hanging out with, where we're going, what we're doing, and how long I'll be out every time I leave the house without him. At first, I thought he was just being protective and looking out for me, but then he started going through my phone after I'd been out, and even started checking out and researching all my friends. He's also been pushing me to link my bank account to his, even though he was totally fine with keeping them separate before. We argue about it almost every day. Then, yesterday, as he was getting ready for a 2-week work trip to California, he demanded that I wear a tracker so he could keep an eye on me while he's away. I can't take it anymore. I feel like I'm suffocating. I've talked to his family about his worrying behavior, and they just say he's being careful and protective like a good husband should be. I need to get my stuff together and figure out how to be gone before he gets home without him finding out. He's always threatened that if he ever catches me cheating, he'll file for divorce the same day. He keeps a filled-out copy in his desk, so I'm going to use those papers the day I leave. But there's so much to do, finding a new place to live, seeing if my job has any transfers available, packing and moving in 2 weeks. His return flight is on May 11th, so I've got to move fast. I'm posting here because I don't have any close family, and I can't risk dragging my friends into this since we all hang out with the same crowd. I just needed a place to vent and ask if anyone has any advice on the easiest and safest way to do this. Edit. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. It never even crossed my mind to not use his divorce papers. I'll check for cameras before I start packing or prepping anything. I might also shred his divorce papers just to be safe and look into getting a lawyer for myself. I'm in a no-fault divorce state, that much I definitely remember, which will help. I'll update again when I know more. The tracker he wants me to use is a small clip that you put on your belt or waistband. I'll wear it unless I'm going or doing something related to me leaving. No pets yet, thankfully. Update 1, so I've gotten a lot of support and helpful advice, along with questions I thought I should clarify before I proceed with the update. Some asked why I'd be hiding things from Alex regarding going out and who I'm meeting with. I don't, and I have nothing to hide. However, when he starts to double-check everything, I tell him with the other people involved right down to each person I talked to and what I said. Did I send any text messages? Did I order food? How much did I eat? That's when it started to feel like I was slowly being pushed into a corner. It didn't start out that bad, but it gradually got worse over time. All of the Reddit subs my in-laws' families are part of are related to gardening and DIY, so I highly doubt they'll see this. And if they do, by the time they do, I'll hopefully be gone. I talked to my job and explained things to my manager. And they promised to look into openings in other states to see if they could get me into one. They'll have an update on that in 3 days. I trust that my bank account is secured, considering he's tried to get into it before and failed. I found one camera in the kitchen, another in the living room, and one in our bedroom. So I've left them in place for now and done all my planning in the bathroom, pretending I'm taking a bath. I'm honestly steering clear of the domestic violence services because my sister-in-law volunteers there and is pretty high up. If I showed up, they'd know it was me in a heartbeat. I can't start looking for apartments until I hear back from my job, but no matter what, I'm leaving the state. The day before I go, I'll switch my phone carrier and wipe my laptop and all of his electronics. I've met with 2 lawyers so far and had them review the paperwork my husband prepared. Both said it had some clauses that could have caused me trouble down the line. What alarmed all of us was that several of those clauses dealt with future children and not just as a hypothetical. Like several people suggested, I have a feeling he fully intended on getting me pregnant to keep me trapped and tied to him. There are 3 other locations my job could send me to, so as a precaution, I've started looking into all 3 cities and the housing options there, just in case one of them is where they send me. Even if they don't have an opening for me, I'll have to quit, move, and figure things out on my own. I have enough money to live and survive for a few months until I can pick up another job. Unfortunately, all of our friends are mutuals and would likely be unaware of the consequences of sharing anything I do or say with my husband. I don't have any surviving close family, and obviously my in-laws are not a good resource to rely on. I'm on my own, unfortunately, other than the wonderful bonds I've started to make here. I'll update again if I get more information or something else happens. Otherwise, I'll update when my work gets back to me. I do plan on leaving before he returns, though, just to make sure that I'm not anywhere near here at that time. Update 2, good news. My job has an opening I qualify for that'll move me across the country and comes with a raise, too. I've started telling my in-laws and friends that I'm planning a surprise outing for when my husband gets back, just for the two of us. This way, people won't give me weird looks if they see me out and about. I've even gone as far as asking Mill to show me his favorite recipes. Meanwhile, I've found a moving company that, while small, is willing to work in a storm. The reason is in 5 days, we're supposed to get hit with a big storm front. I plan to shut off the breaker and say we lost power if he asks, just like several people here suggested, and even send him a short clip of the storm. I'll have all of my stuff moved that afternoon, and I'll be flying out once the weather has cleared enough to do so. I have a lawyer who will push my divorce through, and I've filled out the necessary paperwork so that I don't have to be here for it. I'm not suing for assets or alimony, and I've shredded his divorce papers as well. I've set up a cheap payphone plan through Cricket until this is all said and done, at which point I will find a new carrier, number, and phone. This one is being wiped and left behind. My laptop is provided by my work, and the IT department checked it thoroughly, and it was clean, thankfully. No other electronic aside from my laptop and new phone will be coming with me. If Alex needs to talk to me, he can do it through my lawyer. Not sure if anything else will happen. My fingers are crossed that he doesn't think anything's amiss until after I leave and I'm not turning the breaker back on when I do. He can when he gets home. My job is covering the plane ticket, so that at least is one expense I don't have to worry about. Update 3, it's been a busy week, but I've gotten so much done. So I'm out of the house now and staying in a hotel while I hunt for an apartment. It's a huge city, packed with people everywhere you look. Back home, we got slammed with a nasty storm that lasted 2 whole days. We're talking high winds, thunder, lightning, and even hail all over the place. I didn't take much with me, just my documents, clothes, and some sentimental stuff. I left all the furniture and electronics behind. I scrubbed the house from top to bottom and snapped some photos on my phone to prove I didn't trash anything before I left. My lawyer's already kicked off the divorce proceedings, and my husband's getting served on the 8th. His flight lands early in the morning, and the sheriff will be waiting at the house to greet him. He's all about keeping up appearances and his reputation. My lawyer's going to call him too, to let him know I'm ready to spill everything to the public about what he's done if it means getting my freedom. I'll go to court as long as it takes to get this done. I haven't told our friends or his family yet. I'll do that while he's on his flight so he doesn't get a heads up before he gets the divorce papers. I'll be making some calls to explain why we're getting divorced, trying to stop him from spinning this to make it look like it's my fault. I don't want him saying I cheated or something, so I need to get the truth out there before he can twist it. I'm doing okay. I'm exhausted, but I also feel kind of jittery and off balance. I keep looking over my shoulder and watching what I say, even though I don't really need to anymore. Hopefully, that'll go away soon. My job's covering the cost of the hotel, and I'm working on getting the rest of my life sorted out. I also need to find a new doctor, because I want to get a full checkup to make sure I'm all good. I don't know when my next update will be, probably when the divorce papers are filed or if we have to go to court to push them through. I'll try to keep my spirits up, but it feels like I'm caught in a whirlwind with so much on my plate. I kinda thought it would be easier once I got out of the house, but even though the fear is smaller, somehow the number of tasks has just kept growing. Update 4, sorry I haven't updated for a while, things got hectic and a bit chaotic honestly. Firstly, I'm still working on getting an apartment and have applications in at 3 different places, hoping to hear back from them soon. I'm still going into work at the new location, so I don't have to worry about completely burning through my emergency savings. I've gotten a ton of emails from Alex, his family, and our old friend group, just bombarding me with questions. I only sent one email back to Alex, telling him that I don't believe we're truly compatible, and it's best we separate now. I told him that his treatment of me when I'd done nothing wrong was just as much of a deal-breaker as cheating was for him. I ended the email saying I wouldn't be contacting him further, and anything else he needed to tell me or vice versa would be done through my lawyer. For his family and friends, I just sent one email explaining everything that had happened and why I left. I told them I wished them no ill will, but that such treatment of his wife and partner was not acceptable. I said that if Alex gets remarried in the future, I hoped they would support both partners and not just Alex. Alex, from what my lawyer told me, was furious when he was served. The sheriff actually ended up booking him for assault on an officer and menacing because of the threats he was shouting. His father bailated him out a few hours later, but with the sheriff's testimony, my lawyer thinks I have a really good shot at getting a restraining order. Alex, when he got back to the house, totally lost it again, smashing the dining table to bits, wrecking the TV and punching several holes in the walls. That's what one of our buddies emailed me, saying Alex had called him to help clean up the disaster. I've already given my lawyer photos of the house that I snapped, with timestamps proving I didn't do any of the damage. My friend told me Alex tried to pin it on me, saying I trashed the place, but the holes in the wall were at head height. Alex is 63, and I'm 54, so it's pretty clear that's a lie. Anyway, those pictures are gonna help me out big time. Thanks everyone for the advice because I never would have thought of that myself. My job won't spill the beans on where I am since I deal with some pretty high-end clients who take their security seriously, and that info isn't gonna be spread around. And no, I'm not some stripper or escort. I handle contracts, notary stuff, and business management. So even if Alex tried to use my job against me, he's not gonna get anywhere. Now, let's move on to the next story. Story 2. Caught my wife cheating on a dating app while she was acting all distant and glued to her phone. So I tricked her boyfriend into coming to Christmas dinner and blew their affair wide open in front of our entire family. My wife and I had been married for 2 years before I found out she'd been playing me. First off, I'll admit I was head over heels for my wife, and even when I noticed she was acting a bit off or dressing up more than usual, I didn't really think much of it. We met at a mutual friend's housewarming party and hit it off right away. We chatted about normal stuff, what she was into, what I was into, and she had this free-spirited vibe. She laughed at pretty much every joke, which I thought was gorgeous and super attractive. I also loved that she didn't act like she was too good for me, unlike her other friends. After we had a blast together, we went our separate ways. But before we did, we swapped numbers, and I hit her up as soon as I got home that evening. We didn't chat much that first night because she went out to hang with her friends, but the next day we talked and clicked like we'd been buddies forever. I gotta be honest with you. I wasn't single when I met my wife. My relationship was a mess, and I was dealing with a ton of crap from my then-girlfriend. I was so over her lies, her deceit, and her constant victim act in situations she caused, which was draining for me. So when my then-girlfriend suggested we break up, I didn't fight it. I went along with it because I was already tight with my wife, and she seemed like the kind of woman who would bring me the lasting peace I craved, and I was right. My wife gave me the peace, love, and respect I wanted, but it didn't last long. After I officially ended things, my wife was there to comfort me and hang out with me whenever she felt like it. She worked as a freelance graphic designer, which meant she could work from anywhere. I'd even invite her over for the weekends, and she'd work from my place, and whenever she took a break, we'd go out and have a good time. At that point, she was single and just looking to enjoy herself. Besides the 2 friends I met at the housewarming party, she didn't have many other friends and didn't have much of a social life, so we became best friends, and before we knew it, we were head over heels for each other. Even without me officially asking her out, we were pretty much inseparable and went everywhere together all the time. You might think it was obsession, but it wasn't. I had been longing for a woman I could connect with without feeling insecure, and I found that in my wife. We introduced each other to our parents, and my parents adored her. She shared a name with my maternal grandmother, which created a special bond between her and my mom. I had a solid job with good pay, but as a freelancer she made more than me, and I was totally okay with that. Even though she outearned me, I still looked after her. We dated for 2 years, and those were some of the best times we ever had. We went to different countries, mostly just to sightsee, and managed to squeeze in 2 real vacations during those 2 years. While we were dating, my love for her and my gift-giving only grew. On our first anniversary, I felt like we were ready to step things up, so I asked her to move in with me, and she was thrilled about it too. Her parents had actually suggested she move in with me early on in our relationship to get to know each other better, but she turned it down, saying she didn't want to rush things. I held nothing back from my wife, not a single thing. I loved her with everything I had and did everything I could to make her happy. Her happiness was my top priority, and I adored everything about her. I thought we were headed straight for a fairy tale ending, but boy, was I wrong. After 2 years of dating and 1 year of living together, I proposed, and she said yes. We had a small wedding, invited our friends and family, and had a blast. We didn't need a bigger place, so we stayed in my old house. We didn't split everything 50-50, but she did chip in. I handled the rent, gas, and utilities, and she took care of the groceries. Remember how I mentioned at the start of my story that there was a point where I noticed something was off with my wife? Well, that started happening after a year into our marriage. She just changed, and I couldn't figure out why. Some days, she'd be all happy and sweet. The next, she'd be so cold and act like we weren't even living in the same house. Then she started going out more and more, which was weird because she used to not have many friends or much of a social life. I'd come home from work, and she'd leave a note saying she was out with friends or hanging with other freelancers around town. Honestly, I was glad she was getting out more, so I never really grilled her about the details when she got back. Over time, I saw her start to put more effort into her appearance, with makeup and those tight, revealing outfits. Those outfits kind of worried me, and whenever I brought it up, she'd tell me I was just being insecure and that she was trying new things. I hated hearing that, so I quit bringing it up and let her be. She even began staying out late on her evening outings, and I figured she just needed to blow off steam after staring at her laptop all day. Our connection as husband and wife started to fray as this went on, and most of the time, she wouldn't let me get close because she was always too tired, or so she said. I tried to be a good, understanding husband, totally unaware that my wife was cheating on me. Then one day, it all came out. We were chilling in the living room when she mentioned running out of space on her phone, and I suggested she clear it out. As she was doing that, I caught a quick glimpse of her screen and saw she just deleted a dating app. That piqued my curiosity. I kept my cool and acted like I hadn't noticed a thing. That night, after I'd done my husbandly duties and she'd fallen asleep, I used her fingerprint to unlock her phone. I re-downloaded the app, and since her info was saved with Google, I logged in right away. I didn't have to look far to discover that my wife had been seeing some not-so-great-looking dude for nearly a year, and he'd even met me a few times. I read all their romantic chats, and it broke my heart to see them making fun of me and saying all sorts of nasty things about me. I was so pissed off that I even thought about giving my wife a permanent nap, but I didn't want to spend the rest of my life behind bars. So, I played along and chatted with him pretending to be my wife, and invited her boyfriend to come over for Christmas dinner in a few days to meet my family, still pretending to be her. I told him I'd be out of town, so we'd have the whole evening to ourselves. After he said yes, I deleted the app, juiced up my wife's phone, and acted like everything was cool. In fact, I put on a happy face, even happier than the days before, and she totally bought that I was excited about Christmas. Long story short, on Christmas Eve, he showed up at my in-laws' place, and it was my turn to make a fool out of them. I knew exactly when he'd arrive, and I opened the door for him. The look on his face was priceless, and I acted like I had no clue who he was. When my wife saw him, she dropped the tray of food she was carrying, and her parents started to sense something was off. Her parents didn't know him either, but he was invited to sit at the table and eat with us. As we ate, I started talking about a buddy who just found out his wife was cheating on him through a dating app, and he was furious and divorced her. I made the story so heartfelt. Her parents even said the woman didn't deserve another chance, and her husband did the right thing by divorcing her. While I was telling the story, it was clear that my wife was struggling to chew and swallow her food, and she was sweating buckets. Her boyfriend kept fiddling with his shirt collar, and it was obvious he was uncomfortable too. After beating around the bush, I told her parents that their daughter was cheating on me with the guy she brought to dinner, and her parents grilled her, and they were livid when they confirmed it. They totally embarrassed her boyfriend right away and kicked him out of their house. Then they started yelling at my wife and told her how disappointed they were. I'm glad she's gonna have to deal with her parents' disappointment forever, and she's got no place in my life anymore. She tried to stick up for herself and said she did it because I was getting boring, and I always did everything she wanted without any complaints. Hearing that just made her parents even madder, and they told her to find somewhere else to crash that night. I was completely shattered that she could treat me like that, and I left their house. Later on, we got divorced, and I haven't seen her since. It's crazy how you give your all to a woman, take care of her, and love her with everything you've got. In the end, she just takes advantage of it. Right now, I'm not ready for a relationship, and it might take some time to get over this.